What if I told you that as an adult, you've already bought plenty of call and put options in your daily life? And I'll prove it to you. You already know how options work, and I'll show you why you know. And then we'll do an actual real example of buying call and put options. And I'm going to talk about even selling the other side of it for a brief moment. I'm going to illustrate this by some really interesting graphics that I've prepared for you. And I basically guarantee that you're going to understand options by the end of the video. You're definitely going to understand. If you understand what I'm saying right now, you'll understand it. Let me present to you the first call option that you've probably bought in your daily life. Scratchers. Scratchers is a call option. And every option contract has a few distinct features. It has a premium, which is the price of the call option. In the upper left corner and over here it says $25. It's a little hard to notice, but that's the price of these particular scratchers. It has an expiration date. Now, the expiration date of these is a little bit obscure, but basically until you scratch it, right? Until you reveal the contents of this scratcher. And there's an event payout, something that must happen for you to be rewarded or to completely waste your money. That's basically the essentials of a call option. In this case, if the ticket is a winner, I get, let's say, either a free ticket. This will come important when I talk about selling call options later. Or maybe perhaps up to $1,000. Let's do another similar example of a call option. This here is a lottery ticket. It costs $2. I looked really closely on the picture. The expiration date also I looked close in the picture is July 29, 2022. So this one's already expired, right? Worthless. That's actually a technical term. It's expired, worthless. And then an event payout. So if this ticket was a winner, it would probably bring somewhere between a free ticket, which is valued around $2, to, it looks like it says $440,000 on there, but I could be wrong. It could be something else. That's call options. I mean, anything you buy really can be looked at as a call option. Something that, imagine that there's no recourse when you go to a restaurant, right? There's no manager to talk to, no waiter or nothing, right? It's just a completely mechanized restaurant or even a vending machine, right? That's a better example. And you order a meal, you pay the money up front, and now there's a chance that that meal doesn't come back. So the reward from buying that call option is getting your food. But there is a risk, right? You may not get it. And the expiration is until the store closes, right? You might want to sit there for like 3 hours till the food comes. If it never comes, that's it. You're done, right? You get no food and you've lost your premium, the money that you paid for your call option. So basically anything you do, it's got a positive and a negative outcome in there, and you might lose all your money. So that's call option. Put option can be best understood as insurance. So for example here, we have life insurance. The premium for this life insurance is, let's say, $15 a month. It's variable. You don't have to put all the money up right away. The expiration is, let's say it's a 30-year life insurance policy. So it lasts 30 years. By the expiration, if nothing happens, if the event does not happen, you lose all the money that you've paid, right? But if there is a death, then you get paid. In the event payout, let's say it's a $1 million policy. So you get paid $1 million. Don't get any ideas, okay? Don't be going around killing people with life insurance. So it has all these characteristics, okay, of a put option. Same as a call option, but the reason I bring up insurance is it's a little bit different. It benefits from like negative events rather than positive ones, right? Let's take a look at another insurance example here. Car insurance. So you've actually been buying put options. If you own a car, you've been buying put options against your car every year. every year. Sometimes it's a 6-month policy. You may choose to pay it every month, or you could pay it all at once. But let's say the premium of this policy, they even used this technical term again, premium. Premium is the same term that's used for options. The premium of the policy is $2,000. The expiration is 1 year. It lasts 1 year. If nothing happens during that 1 year, you lose your money, right? Same as buying a put option. But if something does happen, something negative happens, like for example, your car crashes by itself, not you driving it, right? Then you get a payout. Sorry, making myself laugh here. You get a payout anywhere between 0 and 35,000. Let's say the car is 35,000 and it gets totaled, and you get a maximum payout of 35,000. This is exactly how a put option works. You can get paid anywhere from like 1 cent to, if the stock goes to 0, let's say 35,000 or 100,000 or whatever. So if it's if it's $100 stock and it goes down to 0, you're gonna get paid $100,000, something like that. And it has an expiration date, same as a put option. It's exactly the same. Let's move on now. Let's talk about a real life example. Okay, this is an actual example. I've pulled the numbers from the market, and I'll show you where I've pulled them in a second. If you notice up on the top left, it's a little bit more complicated. We've now, instead of just buying a put option against our car, we're buying a specific put option against this stock certificate that we have over here of Netflix. So this Netflix, let's say this Netflix stock certificate represents 100 shares. Let's just say it does that. It's not just one share, 100 shares, because every contract, and again, that's another technical term. Let's back up a step. If we're talking about life insurance and auto insurance, we're talking about contracts, right? We sign contracts. It's the same lingo, it's the same type of deal when you're talking about stock option contracts. The only difference is the strike price here. This strike price, you can think of it as type of policy. Do you want a really expensive policy, or do you want a really cheap policy? If you want a cheap policy, let's go to Netflix here, okay? Let's start from the beginning. Don't mind that. This is my account here, my Robinhood account. We're going to search Netflix up at the top. Then what you do, if you're on Robinhood, you go down here, trade Netflix options. And then you go to buy a put. But first, you got to pick an expiration date. For this example, we're going to be using the February 3rd expiration date, which is next Friday. And we're picking the 360. Let me remove my face. Oh no, let's not do that. We're going to be picking the 360 strike price put option. Strike price is kind of like quality of the option. So the closer it is to the strike price, usually the higher quality the insurance is. So for this example, we're going to be using the highest quality insurance. Well, actually, it can be even higher in quality if you go further up. So if it's above the strike price, it's really high quality, but then it becomes really, really expensive. Okay, so for this example, we're going to just choose the 360 strike price contract. Okay, the premium or the price is over here on the right. It's $725. Now, in order for this example, let's go back here. $725 premium. So that's like the car insurance, right? You're paying the premium up front. The expiration is February 3rd. So if nothing happens, right? If Netflix just holds still or goes up, you lose that $725. You'll never see it again. You've paid for that insurance for a week and nothing bad happened to the stock, and therefore you lose your money. However, if the stock decides to dump, okay, go below a certain price, then you're going to be actually getting some payout. So the event payout here is if the stock goes below $352.75. Where did I find that? It's written right here. Is the break-even point, 352.75. Now, how did they come up with this number? Well, they simply subtracted the premium from the strike price. Now, if Netflix goes down to 351.75, you're only going to get $100 back. I'm sorry, that's false. If it goes to 59, if it goes to 359, you're only going to get $100 back, and you're going to pay the $725 premium, so it'll be net negative $625. But if you go below this point, that's when you actually turn positive, right? So if it goes to 352.74 cents, you'll be a winner. Okay, you'll be net positive 1 cent. Okay, you see how this works? If it goes down to 351.75, you'll actually be gaining $100. You'll be net positive $100. So for every dollar it goes down below this point, you'll be gaining an extra dollar, right? So if it goes down to 302.75, you'll be gaining like $5,000 or something. All right, so quite a bit. Now, that is buying a put option, okay? So buying insurance. Every time you think of buying put options, it's kind of like buying insurance. Now, buying call options, on the other hand, it's kind of like buying the lottery tickets. Okay, it's kind of like buying scratchers. It's kind of like going to that vending machine that may or may not spit out your M&Ms. The premium for this M&M machine is $835 for this 360 strike price. I picked the same exact strike price for both contracts. Again, we go into a little options wheel. That's another lingo. It's called an options wheel. It doesn't look much like a wheel on this particular interface, although I like it better than other brokerages which I've used in the past. And we go to buy a call. Okay, you got to click buy call. Same expiration date. Always check the expiration date. We're going to go down to the $360 contract. It costs $835 to purchase. Now, these are abnormally fat premiums, okay? These are really large premiums. So maybe there's something happening. There's some volatility that's been expected next week. Could be an indicator that something big's happening, like earnings report or some other event that the company is undergoing. So if we dig down deeper, maybe we can find that out. So let's see here. I've reflected the $835 cost for this lottery ticket. What else do we need to know about? When is this lottery ticket going to expire? When is it going to go bad and I'm going to lose all my premium? Well, February 3rd, 2023. What event needs to happen in order for me to get paid? The stock needs to go above $368.35. Okay, so here it is again. The break-even price, the break-even is $368.35. The stock currently at 360, so it just needs to go up, $8.35 or so. No, I can't do math. I can't see very well, actually. Maybe I'm losing my sight. And anyways, that's your break-even point. This is how far the stock has to go up and beyond if you're going to make any money on top of that. For every dollar over this price of 368.35, you will gain $100 by the end of next week. Okay? So if it goes up to 378.35, you'll be getting $1,000 in your pocket. Net. Okay? That includes the premium, that you've paid for. That's how options work. It's very intuitive to understand if you relate it to real life examples. Okay, so think of call options as lottery tickets or scratchers, and then put options as insurance. Okay, you can think of any kind of insurance: fire insurance, house insurance, Anything you can think of. Now, let's talk a little bit about selling call options and put options. Now, selling put options is kind of like owning. Who's on the other? Think about it. Who's on the other side of this transaction? Who is on the other side of this insurance transaction? Was the insurance company. Okay, so they're selling you this product, right? They're selling you this put option, and they're taking in the case of the car example. Let's take the car example for a moment. Every transaction has two sides, right? So on the other side, you're paying this $2,000, but the insurance company is receiving these $2,000. Okay, and what is their downside for receiving these $2,000? Well, there is a risk. They assume risk. Okay, so they take your risk on their backs. Now, you don't have to worry about getting into a crash anymore and losing your car. Okay, and you pay the insurance company this premium, so you don't have to worry about it. Now the insurance company assumes that risk, right? It's their liability. It's their risk. So if you crash, they pay. Okay? So that's what they get out of it. They get out this premium and they assume a whole bunch of risk. The same thing happens when you sell a put option. Okay, so let's go to the live example here again. Selling a put option. Let's say I'm on the other side of this 360 strike price contract. Now let's think through it. I'm receiving this $725 premium. I'm no longer paying it. But what is this risk that I'm assuming? I'm assuming the risk of Netflix basically crashing, right? Instead of the car crashing, Netflix decides to crash and decides to dump. Not only does it dump, but it dumps way below this $352 level. Let's say it goes all the way down to like $300. Now I'm on the hook. I've received the $725, but I'm going to have to pay around $5,000 to the person on the other side of this contract. And you see how I use the word contract again, because that's exactly what it is. All right. So Netflix has got into a car accident. Okay. And the damage is $5,000. I have to pay that $5,000 that Netflix just lost. Yeah. So that's how selling options works. Let's go back to the lottery ticket and talk about call options. Let's think about call options and lottery tickets. Who is selling you the lottery tickets or the scratchers? Let's say scratchers. Well, it's some company, right? Someone with big pockets. Okay, they can pay out your potential winnings. Here's the lottery ticket. The premium price is $25. So you pay that $25. It goes to the company. Let's say Big Lotto. Big Lotto receives $25. You could be the vice chairman or whatever. You could be the CEO. I don't know. The owner, the sole owner of Big Lotto. And you receive $25 from some schmuck. Okay, who doesn't know what's good for him or her or whatever. And they scratch this thing and they win nothing, right? I collect this $25 as sole owner of Big Lotto and nothing happens. That's it. I get rich. However, if one of my tickets goes into the hands of a schmuck that actually wins, right? I may have to give them another free ticket. Maybe, I have the liability here. I may give them a free ticket or up to, let's say, $1,000 that you can win from these scratchers. So I have to make that payout. That's my liability. So same thing, right? The same thing when you're selling call options. Okay, in both cases, though, I want to point out that you need to have big pockets if you're going to be selling options, right? In the put options case, you need to have big pockets because you're going to have to cover all the downside of that car crashing. Let's say it gets totaled. Netflix gets totaled. And sorry, I don't know. I'm making myself laugh here. Then I'm on the hook for $35,000 if Netflix, decides to run into a lake on its own. So I'm on the hook. And same thing here. If I'm selling call options, I also need to have big pockets. But being big lotto, I have plenty of pockets, right? So let's take an example here. Someone pays the premium of $25. They scratch the lotto ticket here, the scratcher, and they win a free ticket. I need to have a bunch of free tickets. I have to have printed a ton of tickets to give out to these people who end up winning tickets, correct? I need to have them. If I don't have them, I can't make good on my promise. I'll get sued and go out of business. All right? So I have to have a bunch of tickets on hand. So it's exactly what happens when you're selling call options. You sell a contract for 100 tickets, and if a certain event happens, then I have to surrender my 100 tickets to whoever's on the other side of the contract. Let's take a look at a live example. So selling a call option, right? On Netflix, same expiration date, same strike price. Now let's see what would have to happen here. Let's say I sell this call option with a strike price of 360. Strike price of 360 just means the quality of the call option, okay? Don't get too confused by this strike price stuff. It's just the price at which some event happens at the end of the week, okay? So if I sell this call option at 360 strike price for 835, what happens here? Me, as sole owner of Big Lotto, I receive 835 bucks in my pocket. Cool. Now, what kind of liability am I assuming? Well, first of all, I need to have 100 shares of Netflix in order to do that, because I may have to give them away by next Friday. If Netflix is at 360 or higher, the brokerage won't even let me sell this contract unless unless I have the 100 shares. Now, it will let me sell it if I do a more complicated option strategy. However, let's not go there right now. If you're advanced enough to understand more complex option strategies, this video is probably not for you. I do have some videos on those. So once you get the grasp of this, you can try to go back and look at some like credit spreads, put spreads, iron condors, and calendar spreads and all whatnot. But anyways, going back on topic here. So 360 strike price, I collect this premium. Big Lotto Joe, okay, collecting $835 in my pocket. Now, why am I getting paid this money? Because I have 100 Netflix shares. And if the price of Netflix is above 360, I'm going to have to sell those shares to whoever's on the other side of that contract. All right. And I will receive back my, what is that, $36,000? That's how much 100 shares of Netflix costs. So I must have had $36,000 to begin with to buy 100 Netflix shares and then sell a call against those Netflix shares. Now, the cash I need as a put seller, or the stocks that I need as a call seller, is called collateral. You may have heard of the word collateral. That's kind of what it is. It's something that you lock up in a box that you cannot access until a specific event happens, okay? In order to access your shares or your cash, you will need to reverse the contract by buying it back if you've sold it, okay? But that's the gist of it. Selling call option, right? You are surrendering upside potential of the stock, and selling a put option, you're surrendering possible downside of the stock, okay? So you have to buy it no matter how low it gets. You have to use your $36,000 to buy this 100 Netflix shares, even if they're worthless, okay? That's the deal that you make on this contract. Now, hopefully you understand what's happened here. Okay, I've explained to you that you have already bought put options and call options as an adult in the US, at least, I don't know, probably every other country in the world too. And you already understand how options work. You just have to be able to look at the numbers and get with the lingo a little bit, and you'll have no problems understanding what you're doing. So think of call options as lottery tickets. Think of put options as insurance. And that should get you pretty far. Okay, that's it. Hopefully that helped. Let me know if you have any questions on options. I like talking options and investing. Be happy to answer any questions you have. Peace out.